Oh my gosh, it's you. Ghost Road Blues by Jonathan Maberry, or Mayberry, I don't know how to pronounce his name, is a 2006 472 page horror pulp type novel that is perfect for Halloween, highly immersive, and also unique for having a sort of gritty, well felt, masculine edge to it. It is a story of evil that comes to a small town in the somewhere I think in the eastern United States. I don't know how, but he genuinely gives a feeling of that sort of mature side of gore horror Halloween that remains fun, and the genuine scary feeling of never feeling safe, like when you're out in a cornfield late at night, if you've ever been, and imagines there's something genuinely apocalyptic on the radio and society might be collapsing and breaking down, and you get this gut instinct feeling of things getting worse and worse. I like to call this feeling mortal fear, made the better for the progression of the characters being highly relatable, ordinary, which takes skill to write, simplistic in a good way, like a sort of like genuine, almost ever so slightly Americana blue collar feel. The prose is fantastic for a book that is really a guilty pleasure. It's a pulp novel. Um, it's on the same level of a Stephen King book. I love Stephen King books, and this um, I think is as good as any Stephen King book I've ever read. For example, it's just sort of pure fun, and it really feels like a masterpiece of pop culture in a way that feels highly underrated. Another thing, so without any spoilers, the supernatural magic of the story, um, magic, not really magic. I don't really know, and that's what kept it interesting. I guess it's mysteriously unfolding and layered with um, other gross yet fun elements um, that sort of draw you in and really give you the feeling that if as you are seeing this universe, this world through the eyes of the characters, you really don't feel like you have control or really know much of anything of what is actually happening in the universe. So that feels eerily plausible. Um, just well presented. Um, I don't really have a lot of criticisms for this book because it delivers exactly really what it promises. Um, except to say maybe there are the pace could have been a little bit faster, maybe a tiny bit more editing, like certain things that are don't really do anything for um, the story could have been left out, like maybe a little bit quicker dialogue, quicker descriptions. But honestly, Pine Deep is a town that's interesting enough that the backstory section, especially when you learn about certain characters' past, does get more and more real and more interesting. Definitely has a really strong sense of place. If you're a horror fan and you just like that sort of grittier, harder, darker side of Halloween, this is the best horror novel I've ever read that fits that. I'm sure there's others out there like it, but I mean, at this point in my overall reading career, this is one of the best I've ever read. So, um, also, it's not so much body horror, but things like it. I don't know how to describe it except without giving too much away. There are moments that really, really get under your skin in an effective, immersive way. Other antagonists that feel highly relatable. Um, it is kind of one note pulp, though, overall, in the sense, and this is a mild criticism, but at that point we would just be complaining about, what the book is not, which, art being subjective, would not be fair. So it's not going to appeal to you if you're not already a fan of any of the things I just described. Like, the characters aren't terribly deep. There's nothing terribly literary to say, except the slightest of insinuated background moral messages about uh, America's racist past being causing modern day curses in a sense. One of the greatest, probably the greatest takeaway for me personally, beyond just my generic review to this point, is the fight scenes and how brutal and realistic and unflinchingly so it is. It really gives the feeling that this dude um, understands crime. So this is also this. I forgot to mention this is kind of a genre blend of a something like a if you could imagine a realistic police grindhouse film in a more modern setting than like the 70s, um, mixed with a horror story that has some slight supernatural leanings, and the prose altogether is a step up above a huge 3 steps above like what we typically come to expect from this type of book. So cannot wait to read this. I got the sequel here, the Pine Deep trilogy, Dead Man's Song. When I eventually finish this, it might not be till the end of October, November, like this year. I don't know. Reading too many books right now, but I will give a review of this book as well and tell you my honest thoughts. But I give this book a 9.5 out of 10 for just being solid in every way, being entertaining, and getting me to be invested enough, caring about the characters, wanting to get to the end, wanting to unlock the mysteries of Pine Deep, but most of all, wanting to really cringe and feel immersed by just being revolted and disgusted and feeling the long-term pain, the results of the toll that actual violence takes on you, and that sort of immersive adrenaline rush that this dude is so good at writing. So this is my first Jonathan Maberry novel. I could see myself perhaps in the future reading all of his novels. Yeah, 9.5 out of 10. Really, really great horror, solid novel.